PSN. PSN. That was the summary of my ULRI Research Symposium experience. Just for some context, a couple weeks ago, my company paid for me to go to a research symposium hosted by their sister company under the larger company. That was really cool. I got to present my research on evaluating retrieval augmented generation frameworks as a whole blast. But PSN is the summary of my experience presenting, socializing, and networking. So let's get into it. When it comes to presenting, it was relatively good. This is my third. It was my third research post at the time. My first one was really bad because I prepared like the day before. My second one had more time to improve on my first one because it was the same research, just a larger conference. But yeah, both were good. And on this third one, I felt more confident because it was a completely different topic. Because the first two were on using AI to help teachers and help students write the essays and help teachers grade the essays. Really cool thing I could talk about anytime I want because it's a really fun topic. But with this one, it was still a relatively new topic that I was presenting on. But since I've worked so much with RAG, I think I was just more comfortable. It wasn't something that I was like, oh, I just learned this month. It's been something I've been talking about for years now. It's a really cool thing in AI to talk about because it does help improve AI models performance with like a relatively small investment, like in building stuff. And it's just becoming easier and easier to do. So it's really cool to talk about that. Um, I did mess up one presentation though because I thought I got mocked, and by being mocked, I mean like I thought someone was asking me a question to like say, "Oh, you're really dumb," like you don't know what you're saying. And he wasn't obviously doing that. He acted very he asked it very earnestly. He did mean he was very curious on my thoughts about the topic. However, once I started hearing terms I didn't know, instead of clarifying, I was like, "Dang, I'm really dumb. I don't know what he's talking about." Um, and then eventually I said, "Oh, can you clarify?" But I was still shaking up because like, "Oh, dang, he just proved I don't know what I'm talking about." I think that's something I always, something I still have. I guess I'm still working on when it comes to like AI and just topics in general. Is once there's I'm surrounded by so many people who aren't like the most in depth when it comes to AI and research and stuff like that. So it's very easy for me to feel a bit of comfort and like, okay, I know this, and like I feel comfort in like the level of expertise I am in physically, like in my physical spaces. So when I'm in like different spaces like this, where I actually interact with more people who have more experiences, like terms I'm exposed to that terms that I'm exposed to for the first time, right? And it shakes me up. It's like, oh dang, like there's so much more depth to this. Like I haven't even scraped the surface. And it's such an exciting thing. That's why research symposiums like this are so important. That's why I'm so grateful to have gone to one. Eventually, I did recover a bit, but that did shake me up. But usually, for most of the presentations, it was really good. Had a lot of confidence. I got to geek out with some people a lot of the time. I guess like 30 to 40% of the time. It will start off with random. Let's talk about some random AI topics. I know with one we'll talk about AI in schools. Another one we'll talk about AI in the government and how that's shaping up and why certain stuff are going with the way they are. But it's really cool. But following from that, with the research symposium, it was really good to talk about research and stuff like that. But I think another big part, if not the highlight of my conference, was really just socializing with the other interns. I think a year ago, the me who I was a year ago would have not socialized with the other interns. My logic would have been, hey, you're here to build your network, you're here to learn more. Socializing with the other interns isn't gonna get you anywhere in life. Um, and that's true. That's wrong. That's just flat out wrong. But even like let's say it doesn't get you anywhere in life, I do think it's just fun. Um, there's cool people. I think it was just nice to talk with them because we all had like similar experiences, even though we're all working on completely different things. Some people are working on fire research, some people work on batteries. Let me tell you, batteries are like the most complicated thing ever. It's like it's so like if you ever talk to someone doing research in batteries, you will not understand a word they're saying. It's really cool to see, but like you will not understand the word they're saying. But it's just really cool to talk to them because like they're people, they're in a similar age range. Some people are older though. It's weird because you have like people doing their PhDs. You have some people in their undergrad. So it's like I was like the youngest one. I am the youngest intern. So that was weird. But it was really cool to just talk to everyone. I think it was really nice. I think just being kind, just being someone who's willing to get to know people more, just being curious and genuine is such a great way. I think we had a really great intern cohort. I have heard horror stories, horror in quotations, of cohorts which are more competitive in the sense that they're competitive to the sense that they would rather let you drown so they can get like the return offer and stuff like that. But I think with this was much more helpful. I know there was times where I messed up, so it's like when I remember, I'll touch on this in a second, hopefully. I remember I took a picture with the CEO, right? And then I forgot to say, I think I said thank. No, I didn't. I don't think I said thank. I was like, oh wow, thank. I took the picture. I forgot to say thank you. The another one at the interview said, hey, you forgot to say thank you. I was like, well, dang, it didn't pass my mind. And I went back and said, oh, sorry about that, thank you. And stuff like that, or stuff, and where in another intern cohort or another company, like, oh, dang, Dalo messed up with this interaction with the CEO. Dalo's not going to get the return offer and stuff like that. But with this one, it's like everyone's watching out for each other. They're making sure they have their stuff in order. They're succeeding. Like if like let's say my goals are to work in government, or I had another intern whose goals to work in the government and stuff like that. So I remember I connected with this lady who does work in government and works in Congress. I go, dang, this is a really cool network for me. But I also know she would love that connection. So I also gave her that connection. And that's the type of cohort I love, where it's like everyone is looking out for each other. It's not a matter of like there's a scarcity of resources. It's much more like I just want to see everyone win. Right? I win when everyone wins, and everyone wins when I win. All for one for all. But yeah, I think it was really cool just to have that network. Is professionally beneficial in the sense that once you can build this type of cohort, once you can build these connections, these people, their ideas, they're going to be successful in their own ways. And if they become successful on the path they're going on, let's say it's battery research, fire research, business, finance, or whatever, well, it's actually business, finance people there, but for the example, they continue advancing their career path and think, oh, dang, I remember Dalu. Dalu was really cool, and Dalu does AI research or evaluating RAG or doing explainable AI. I really need someone for this position. Instead of me looking for like out of 1,000 people who I have no trust with, I have no idea who they are. At least I can just say I know this dude, and he's really trustworthy, and he's really reliable. I just love his work ethic and who he is as a person. And having those networks where people can rely on you is something that's really beneficial in your career. As a great way to actually like get a lot of opportunities. Um, I think there's a false notion. I don't know. I think I got this about at a young age, especially living in Nigeria. But there's a false notion that if you just continuously work hard, you're gonna get better opportunities, and that's just not true at all. It's true, but it's a mix of who you know and how well you work, right? And the problems you work on. Um, because if you're just a random kid in Liberia and you're just working really hard, you could be the smartest person ever. It doesn't mean you're gonna get into like the places you want to go because you don't know the people to help you get there, right? There's a lot of stuff that takes to get into a job. For this one, for example, if I didn't know to get to the Nesby conference, if my brother didn't know people who weren't in Nesby, who could help me with my application, who to get me into Nesby and get to know the people who could help me get to the Nesby conference, I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity for the internship in the first place. So that's even just a chain of networks, right? So you can visualize how that can apply to different things. But to that point, interns and socializing with your interns is a beneficial thing professionally. And it's just fun. Like it's a really fun thing. I think it was a really fun just to play cards, laugh with each other, eat Old Bay fries. Old Bay fries are so good, man. It's so crazy. But yeah, it was a really fun time. It was really cool just talking to them. Cause I especially think it's easier to talk to your interns than people you don't know, especially throughout a conference where it's like it can feel overwhelming at times. So it's really a great way to kind of ease your nerves. Um, in terms of networking though, because networking is something you have to do at these conferences. I think I killed it all my days, man. I don't think there's a person on the planet Earth who can have networked better than I did. I think my philosophy was just that everyone is a human being. I think it's easy to get lost in these titles and roles and money and stuff like that. I think especially in tech, there's this unhealthy idealization of people with big roles who can get you into big roles as well. But at the end of the day, these guys are human. They excrete food, they eat food, they ingest food, they excrete it, all those type of stuff. I think once you can encapsulate that idea in your head and actually ingest it and digest it, you realize like I'm talking to another person here and they do really cool things that I'm curious about. And that allows me to break the ice. So whether it was a CEO, a manager, a coworker, someone working at an external company, it was really easy for me to just go talk to them. I do think in saying that though, what did help is that I kind of formulate a question because it's hard to just go to someone like, hey, like nothing can really happen in that conversation. So I would try and formulate a question for like the person depending on the role. If I couldn't think of something that directly related to their role or the action I just witnessed, they did. Like if they spoke at a panel, I could ask them about the panel. that was probably just bring up something general. I said, "Oh, how you enjoying the?" I remember it was a CEO I talked to. I was like, "Oh, how you enjoying the conference?" I was like, "Oh, I'm enjoying well." Then the typical thing that a human being does is that they try to reciprocate that curiosity or interest. Or how you enjoying? I said, oh, "I'm doing it well. I'm enjoying it really well. I'm an intern, so it's my first one." I was like, "Oh, are you a gym fellow?" "Oh, I'm not, but my friend is." Let me introduce you to my friend real quick, and then that's how you get the CEO to talk to other interns, and it's a really great way to just network with people in general and get cards. In saying that though, networking is probably one of the easiest things I think for me because it's just talking to people. What does come, what the mountain I kind of have to overcome with that though, is that it's one thing to network and get like one thing connects and names and cards, but it's another thing to follow up and actually cultivate those connections. I think the best way to visualize it is like it's a matter of planting a billion seeds, but how many seeds are you actually going to water and nurture to fruition? And I think that's the issue with me because I I think I do have this like in my head, like, oh, meet as many people as you can, talk to as many people, connect with as many people. But when it actually comes to like the following up, that's where I struggle because this I don't know what to say to people. Like, do I just say, hey, how are you doing? Like, it's weird for me. Even like the people I know, I struggle with following up with like family members and friends. It's something I've been working on for like the past couple of months. But it's so awkward. I think for me, the I guess the thing I would just have to do is just like accept the awkwardness of the situation. There's never, at least for me, there's never been a time in my life where I've been angry at someone for being awkward, right? Like I've never been like, oh dang, this person sucks. They're so awkward. I think it's just a matter of like accepting this. It's like, hey, how are you doing? Or I saw you did this. Oh, this is really cool. So I think that's the approach I'm going to take. I've been thinking about creating a database of all the people I know and like having a random spin wheel. Like oh, follow up with this person. So I think that could be a cool way to like, oh, okay, I can actually continue cultivating these relationships, whether it's family, friends, or professional or social, other stuff like that. But yeah, that was the ULRI Symposium. It was a really great experience. I learned so much. It actually did help me with my research, not my research project, my intern project. Just to give some context, I'm working on a RAG evaluation framework. So one of the issues is building a golden data set to compare what the RAG pipeline should actually be working, what the RAG pipeline should be looking like in an ideal scenario. You have to have that ideal scenario actually built out to compare it to. You can do some stuff like synthetic data, like you can build a test set and all that, but that's not the ideal data set you want. But to build the golden data set, you need you need to get experts from all over the company who work in like different areas, like fires, electrical, batteries. Batteries are so complicated. Just get the domain experts, and they build the questions and the ideal answers and the ideal documents for the RAG pipeline to reference. So I met the ULRI, DSRI, Digital Safety Research Institute people who were working on a project that was similar, but they were doing it for open source models in different domains, so coding, health, and stuff like that. And they really just said the way they did it was that they just kind of like said it's a matter of who you know. So they just got friends or people they've met before and just ask them, hey, can you create questions and answers and go from there. So I think that's just the ultimate approach we have to take with Euro standards and engagement, building this golden data set of sorts. But I also want to build a hub to make it more convenient because I know that stuff like this can be a big time consumer. So making it reducing the time as much as I can, like humanly possible, is something I think would immensely help in scaling this project up and just getting it to be done faster. But yeah, besides that though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.